I was in so much pain that the first thing, of course, was, hey, do you need painkillers? Well, I don't have the receptor that binds well with painkillers. So they don't actually do anything to me. So in order for my pain to go away, it would take a huge amount of drugs to do that. And I'm so grateful for that, actually, because I think I would be completely hooked on painkillers throughout this journey.
Connect with us on the Emotion Wellness Podcast for a transformative journey of human connection. Witness personal stories, improve your mental health education, and acquire valuable resources for optimizing your well-being. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.
All right, we are here today, the Emotion Wellness Podcast. As always, I'm with my boy, Mr. Frank Parisi.
So grateful to be here and alive another day with my brother, Jason Turner. We got Casey. You don't see him, but Casey's here all the time. Just so you know.
The original engineer.
Casey. He makes everything happen with everything. That's just the reality. And special guest all the way from Denver. She's in our mastermind group, that one. Shout out Mike C-Rock. We have Athena Brownson from Denver, Colorado. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I love your energy. It just gets me automatically so hyped up to be here. So let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's like my energy. It's just all in. I'm giving it to Casey now too. Every day I'm calling you, tapping in. We're tapping in. I'm tapping in. So I'm back. Frank Parisi's back. All right, we're back. Let's go. You know I'm back. He been waiting for this. It took him a whole year. I'm sorry, but it's fucking 1 year. Took me a year. Took me a year to come back, but we're back, baby.
Where you been, dude? Recovering from fucking heart transplant?
That's what happened.
Just casually got a new
And all
heart.
my trauma, you know.
How you gonna let a little heart transplant slow you down?
So anyway, we're here, and I thank you for coming all the way from Denver. Amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I would fly from the far reaches of the universe to be here with that energy.
I love it. I love it. So again, let's give us a little background about yourself. You know, where you're from, how'd you grow up, what did that look like?
A little background. It seems like it's been like 9 lives, and I'm only 35. So we'll get into it. But I grew up in a small mountain community, Breckenridge, Colorado.
Beautiful.
If you know skiing and snowboarding, you probably heard of it.
Yes.
It's a pretty wonderful place. But I grew up with a dad that was a professional skier and a mother that was an incredible artist. They were like the dream team. He was also a he was a heavy addict and alcoholic for sure. But skiing, and I mean, he is a genius. He had that brain that just could absolutely figure anything out. And he managed to continually perform at a very elite level, even as an addict. So it took, I believe, like 4 DUIs in a month and going to jail before he got sober. So when I was 5 years old, he got sober. But I look at my youngest memories, and the only thing that I think of is my time on snow with him. So I got the skiing bug from him when I was probably old enough to walk, is when I learned how to ski. So I had this very, very, very competitive environment of almost obsessiveness. You know, I think when you are in recovery, that addiction tends to translate into something else. And for him, it translated into being a very high-performing athlete, which then rubbed off on me. And I'm not ungrateful for that, because it is the best thing that probably ever could have happened to me. I always say, like, looking back in life, that skiing was probably the best business school I ever went to, because you have these coaches and mentors teaching you from a very young age the principles of discipline and resilience and showing up, what it looks like to get gritty and having accountability. So I ended up going pro as a skier when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Which in the world of skiing, it is a very young sport because it is so injury prone, but that was still on the young side. So that basically enabled me to travel the world. I skied 300 days a year, chasing snow all over the universe pretty much. And when I wasn't skiing those 300 days, I was probably rehabbing an injury. I went through, 9 ACL surgeries, couple broken legs, collarbones, wrists, 3 neck surgeries. I mean, you name it, like I broke it pretty much. But it was always, if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to get better. I always had a plan for how I was going to get better. And I had coaches and mentors that were there to keep me accountable to showing up for my rehabilitation, showing up for physical therapy, so that I knew I would come back stronger. So really my identity growing up was as an athlete. And I didn't, I think I'm 35 now, and I'm just starting to realize that so much of who I am, or who I thought I was actually, was tied up with what I was doing, what accolades I was receiving, how I was getting, how people were receiving my accolades. Like, that was what was getting me excited. It was never work internal or awareness internally of who I was as a person. It was always what I was doing. So, we'll get into it, but fast forward, when you have that identity kind of ripped away, it causes a little bit of a mental breakdown. But after that, a lot of internal reflection. And the last 10 years of my life have been quite the time of internal reflection. So we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
So you're 15 years old, you're skiing. How long do you professionally ski?
A little under 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. So like I said, we were pretty much in the Northern Hemisphere for October through January. Then I'd head over and I'd live in Germany for a couple of months, come back to California, ski at Mammoth, then go to Oregon, ski on the glacier at Mount Hood, then go up to Whistler, ski on their glacier, and then it was time to go down to the Southern Hemisphere because it was winter there. So would train in Argentina and Chile and New Zealand. I mean, just things that I look back on, and I'm like, I cannot believe I got those opportunities as a young person. It was extremely fortunate, and I was extremely fortunate to be in an environment that was pushing me to succeed and pushing me to be my best in a very uncomfortable way. I mean, you show up for practice a couple minutes late, or dryland training, whatever it is, you're not taking the chairlift that day, you're hiking the mountain. Like, there was very, very strict accountability. And that honestly has translated so much later into my life that I couldn't be more grateful for those tears I was crying while hiking up a mountain, just pissed off at my ski coaches. But it was a good time.
I mean, I think I see it a lot. We with our clients, with people that I experience in the recovery community, the foundation that if you come into a process of recovery without accountability and you look back at a person's experience, you can tell how things got to where they were. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It was this easily fall into the victim's mentality and easily avoid the things that are hard and good for you. And the people who have a foundation doesn't mean that you're protected and you'll never have difficulty. But I think when you're picking up the pieces, like you said, and when you went back into the inner reflection, I'm sure that foundation, would you agree, totally supported your efforts in like getting over the other hurdles, right?
Oh my goodness. I think that it trained me from the womb almost on the power of mental toughness and resilience. And I don't think that those are things that I understood at the time at all. But I was putting in the reps. I was making those neural pathways that were like, okay, when something's hard, we don't fear away from it. We push into it. We lean into it. When things are hard in life, you lean into it. But that doesn't mean by any means that there wasn't, there haven't been moments or years even in life that, you don't feel like, why is this happening?
Oh, yeah,
me?
absolutely.
But I mean, man, I couldn't be more grateful for the fact that I got these things embedded in me as a really young adult.
I had a winter sport. Mine was hockey, and it was
okay.
And I just remember wanting to pick and choose the parts that I wanted to pick and choose. Right, like I want to play the game. I don't want to do the drills. I definitely don't want to practice on an outdoor rink because it's freezing.
Yeah.
I don't want to do street hockey, dry land, because it's not as fun as the ice. And having people, coaches, I totally agree with you. I didn't know at the time. I think every kid needs to be on a team sport.
I agree.
Sonny's on 5.
Every kid needs to
5.
Sonny's does basketball, soccer, baseball, and football. And he does taekwondo.
Your hands full. Okay.
But there's so many things that you learn and gain, and you don't know what's happening at the time.
No.
But like showing up for other people and being a part of, and being supported and giving support, and all the things that are essential to, I think, a high quality of life for a human being. You know, so
absolutely. And you know what? Something I've recognized that. Because I wasn't necessarily in a team sport. Yes, I was on a team, but skiing is a very individual sport. And I was also an only child. I am an only child, I should say. And as I've developed in life and started building out in my real estate team, I'm in real estate now and I absolutely love it. I realized that the skills I did not gain were the art of delegation and how, I had this mentality that I could get everything done myself. And I would wear myself out to the point of complete burnout because I was trying to do absolutely everything instead of utilizing the incredible support system that I had around me. So, looking back, I think that the value of team sports for children, I mean, sports in general, but that was definitely an area that I lacked because I had the idea that, nope, I could get it all done myself. And I could only count on myself.
Well, I think people on team sports can fall into that trap too, right? Where I don't want to pass to you. I'm going to have to go. They just have more of a mirror and feedback of like, stop trying to do it yourself because you have people to support,
Absolutely.
What, when did the nearly 10-year stretch in the professional ski game, what was the events that had that change for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a hard thing to come to terms with, but I was 23, almost 24 years old, and I had just blown my 9th ACL, and my doctor looked at me and was like, Athena, you're going to need knee replacements before you're 30 years old without question if you keep doing what you're doing. Because I was literally one of those psychos that was going off 100-foot jumps and doing tricks and going through the half pipe. I was in X Games, Dew Tour, was training to be in the Olympics before I got hurt. And that really hit. That was the first time that that my go-to surgeon, who's absolutely incredible, was like, you really need to think about the long-term repercussions of what you're doing to yourself. Because at the time I was so fixated on, I know how to recover, I know how to get my body back into the best shape possible, but I had such a one-track mind when it came to skiing that quitting didn't even feel like an option. And when he said that to me, it really brought perspective and made me start thinking about what the next chapter of my life was going to look like. And the fact that I didn't want to enter that next chapter pretty much, needing knee replacements at age 27 or 28 years old. So that, after that conversation, I rehabbed. I actually got my real estate license while I rehabbed, and I decided to hang up the boots. And it's, in skiing, it is short-lived. Like, you generally see people retiring in their mid-20s. There's a couple wildcats that are, in their mid-30s, 40s that are still absolutely killing it. More power to them. But it doesn't come without, serious costs to your physical body.
Well, that was evident when you said my go-to surgeon.
Yeah.
If you have
how many surgeries have you had?
Surgeon.
Now, to this day, I think I'm on like 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
More than me.
I know.
More than me.
I mean,
You're a savage.
I hope that I'm like bionic one day. I feel like I should be, robot limbs or something.
100%.
But yeah, 28 surgeries.
Wow.
Wouldn't wish that on anyone.
No.
It's a pretty serious commitment, though, it speaks volumes to when we're passionate and we are into something. It was like, I look at it similar and not in the, it's like my drinking, right? Like the consequences were acceptable until they weren't acceptable.
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
Exactly.
I puke on myself a little bit. I embarrass myself. Not a big deal. I'm going to keep doing it. I lose a couple jobs. Not a big, you know what I mean? It wasn't until it got to a very extreme level and you had, you know, all the way up to 28 surgeries, these are acceptable terms.
Absolutely. I was like, this is just part of the game. I can get through this. I got this. And then there comes a point, like, you know, just how I said my dad getting sober, like there came a point when it was just, I couldn't keep doing this to myself. And it does become mentally exhausting to continually have to build yourself back up over and over again.
I know.
I mean, you know, you break something, you tear something, the atrophy is so quick, and the amount of time that it takes to rebuild is not quick.
It's not.
It's brutal. So, but you know what? That is, little did I know, like that was what was preparing me for the challenges that were to come in life. Because you always, you know, especially when you're an elite level athlete, I had this mentality of almost being invincible. Even though I was getting hurt, I had this very, very strong mentality that, you know, I could get through anything and everything was going to go to plan. But what I didn't realize, it's like that corny quote, you know, when you tell God what your plan is, he laughs. Because did I plan for my life to go the way it has? Absolutely not. But was it the, you know, what needed to happen for me to grow into the best version of myself? Absolutely. And I think that's what challenges are. What, you know, no matter what it looks like. And for me, you know, we'll get into it more, but I encountered health issues over the last decade that a young, healthy, professional athlete, adult would never in a million years think could completely wipe you out and make you almost incapacitated. But it was the background of I can get myself through anything that really has kept me going. And I think it, you know, athletes do have addictive personalities in the way that you put everything that you are into your input, because the output is going to show the work that you put in. Like you put almost obsessive energy into what it is that you're doing. And I think that can be a really incredible thing when you're getting through challenges in life, but it can also be something that you have to check yourself on, because if you're constantly pushing your body even further than maybe you should be, it can be at a detriment. So it's, you know, we were talking about knowing your body and having an understanding of what's going on. And I think when you get into that mindset, it can almost cloud your judgment a little bit about what's going on within your own body.
Yeah.
Because you just have this
that.
fighter mentality. It's crazy.
I understand that.
Speaking of the health challenges, what was your most significant challenge?
Yeah. So I went in for my last neck surgery in 2016, and I had been putting it off for about a year, trying to heal it non-surgically. But, you know, I had ruptured discs, had them repaired, or had synthetic discs put in, and needed to have C6, C7 fused as well. So I went in for neck surgery, and all of a sudden that pain that I'd been feeling for a year was gone when I woke up.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is the greatest gift imaginable. But then as I was recovering, I started to get all of these really bizarre not autoimmune, that's later, GI infections, basically. And I started getting chronic fatigue and chronic like joint pain, things that I had never experienced before. Like I got E. coli, I got SIBO, H. pylori, all of these things that, you know, were indicating something was wrong in my body. Now, in a million years, I never would have thought that what was to come was it. But my neurosurgeon, who's still my hero and I continue to work with, had Lyme disease. And he said, Athena, I think we should test you for Lyme. And I looked at the guy like he was crazy. I was like, I've never seen a tick. I've never been bit by a tick. What the heck is Lyme? Like, what are you talking about? And usually, you know, people that get diagnosed with Lyme have been seeking answers for decades in some cases. It's a very, very difficult diagnosis because basically it attacks whatever you're genetically predisposed to. So your genetic weaknesses. So it shows up in people in very different ways. For some, it's psychiatric. For some, it looks like rheumatoid arthritis. For others, it's autoimmune. For some, it's GI. I mean, it's fascinating, and there's a lot of conspiracy that it was probably man-made because there's nothing really like it in nature. But the shape of Lyme is a spirochete. It's a screw. So it screws itself into your own cells and then creates a biofilm around that cell that's like pretty impermeable. So in order to treat it, you have to be able to get through that biofilm into the cell.
Like Space Invaders.
It is literally a science fiction novel. I always say I'm going to write a book one day and it's going to seem like a sci-fi novel because of all of the events that
you need to write it.
Incurred. I will.
You need to write a book.
Yeah. One day. But my results came back and sure enough, I had like 7 strands of Lyme with 2 very serious co-infections called Bartonella and babesiosis. They often come from the same tick. I guess 80% of people with Lyme disease don't ever remember getting bit by a tick. I was one of those people. I'm guessing one of my little lives, I lived in Uganda teaching sustainability practices. And honestly, I think that's probably where I got it.
Right.
Just because.
Africa.
Yeah, I lived in Africa. And one of the co-infections is very malaria-like, and it's very prevalent in Uganda. So that's why I kind of attribute it to that, and I lived on a farm in a tent. So it was definitely an interesting journey. But I went from, being at the top of my game into physically because I had quit skiing at this point, but I was still I was running 30 miles a week. I mean, working out once or twice a day, taking really good care of myself. And I went from this peak physical condition. I was a couple years into real estate. I had just found my stride. So I kind of felt invincible. I was like, I've got this. After my identity crisis of quitting skiing, I was like, okay, I found my thing. Like, I love this. I went from that to within a few months after being diagnosed, it had so quickly snowballed into having a myriad of autoimmune diseases that I was in so much physical pain and fatigue every day that doing anything was almost unbearable. I mean, even just getting out of bed, which, I'm sure we can all relate to. Like, it took so much mental game to be able to keep myself going, and it just goes wild from there.
Can I ask you a question? Because I like to ask this. What was your mindset during this?
It has been such a roller coaster. So
I just gotta say real quick, I love that you say that because I feel like so many people are in a position to be like, I gotta present like it was always, you know what I mean? And I know what you mean by roller coaster because it's like up and down, right? And I'll let you share it, but I just wanted to say, man, I really appreciate that because so many people are going to come into that question and be like, it was this from the beginning, and you know what I mean, to try to like, make look better. And
totally. And I think there is this, you want to put a perception out there of like constant mental toughness and not letting yourself become a victim, but the reality is we're humans.
Yes.
And like when your body is not working properly and it feels like it's failing you, I mean, when I was first diagnosed, I went kind of through a period of denial of like, this isn't happening to me. Like, there's no way I'm going to be just fine.
I went through the same thing.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to get to the point where, you know, I developed a very rare, it's called an electromagnetic frequency sensitivity. So EMF sensitivity, which basically meant that anything that was a phone, a computer, LED lighting, anything with a lot of electricity that puts off radiation, because of the nerve disease that I had gotten, an autoimmune disease, that basically my own antibodies were attacking the sheathing around my nerves. So I was left with exposed portions of my nerves. And it got to the point where if I picked up a phone, and granted, I was in real estate full swing, I would get such severe electrical burns up my hands that eventually they'd start bleeding.
Wow.
And it got to the point where I couldn't even walk into a supermarket. I couldn't walk into any, you know, buildings that had a lot of electricity. And it got to the point where I couldn't live in a house. So I moved into an RV, and I was living without electricity, no Wi-Fi.
Wow.
And when I needed to write a contract for work, I would put on lead gloves and a lead blanket, because the second I opened my computer, I would literally start getting electrical burns on my chest.
I feel like there's a TV show or a movie a long time ago I saw where like it was like a dude's brother.
Better
like,
Call Saul.
Dude, is that
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't think of the name of it.
I haven't seen it, but I've been told that many times.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, it's very rare to be as extreme as that and myself, but it is something that is becoming more common, especially once 5G was rolled out, because basically all of this is radiation. And some people are more sensitive, just like some people are more sensitive to mold. Some people are more sensitive to, you know, chemicals, whatever it may be. I was extremely sensitive to electricity. And it got to the point where I literally had to borrow a friend's RV and live in an RV park, writing $1 million contracts with lead gloves on. And that period of my life, I was like, I wasn't in the headspace of strength or mental toughness. I was in the headspace of survival, of like, what is happening to me? Why is this happening? Like, you know, I think when you go through challenging times, you really find out who your people are too. Yeah. And I was losing quote unquote friends left and right that I look now and I'm like, that was the greatest blessing I could have asked for, because it showed me who my tribe was.
Clears the energy.
Exactly. And I found out the people that had my back and would come visit me in my RV in an RV park and support me any way they could. But I was in a place of feeling like a victim of this. Mm-hmm. And I was angry and I was depressed. And that's why I say it's been a roller coaster, because there have been chunks of this journey that have not been, you know, that I haven't been mentally tough all the time. And I think it really took getting over that one hump. And granted, this entire time we're trying, you know, different protocols from all over the world. I'm trying everything humanly possible that I hear about. And my case, you know, some of the leading Lyme doctors in the world have said you're probably one of the most complicated cases we've seen, because everything cascaded on top of each other so quickly. So I was trying protocol after protocol and not having one bit of results. Now, something I'm so grateful for is that, you know, I was in so much pain that the first thing, of course, was, hey, do you need painkillers? Well, I don't have the receptor that binds well with painkillers, so they don't actually do anything to me. So in order for my pain to go away, it would take a huge amount of drugs to do that. And I'm so grateful for that, actually, because I think I would be completely hooked on painkillers throughout this journey. So that's a positive, but it's only in the last probably 4 years that I've really, and it took really doing some really deep therapy. I started doing EMDR about 2.5 years ago, and realizing that illness is so much more than just the diagnoses that I had. It had so much more to do with what was being stored in my body, trauma from all the way from birth to my young years to, things I don't remember completely. And
28 surgeries, that's traumatic.
Yeah, 28
surgeries is traumatic.
Putting your body under anesthesia and antibiotics all of those times. Like, I think of illness as like you have a bucket and you can fill it up with toxic things to a certain point, and then something tips it and it starts overflowing. And for me, getting Lyme and then having that neck surgery that kind of tipped my bucket and everything started overflowing. And until I address, because it's still an in progress battle, these things, I don't think full wellness is completely possible. And that's really difficult work to do. It's hard to look within as a human, and it's hard to realize what we lean on as our identity and what accolades, we're leaning on for people pleasing and all of these things that you're like, I didn't even realize this was what I was projecting or who I was. But they're all so intertwined with healing.
That journey from human doing to human being is...
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it's really profound, honestly. And it's something that, I always say I'm the luckiest sick person, because I do have the most incredible tribe of support. I've got my family's support. I have amazing doctors, but I have a career that I love. And for me, looking at what I go through, and I continue to go through, I'm doing 4 plasma transfusions a month still. I'm getting a lot better for the first time in 10 years, which just brings me so much joy. I could literally dance on the table with excitement, but I won't. And I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were just basking in your joy of
you get 4 plasma treatments a month.
Yeah, so I'm still going through it, and I look through this journey, and the constant was that I had something that I loved so much. So when I was told multiple times, like, you should stay in bed and go on disability, I knew my brain. I knew that was going to be the nail in the coffin for me, because if I was sitting at home thinking about how bad I felt all the time, I was going to deteriorate so much mentally that my physical health didn't have a chance.
100%.
And the fact that I have a career that I freaking love. Like, I'm that corny real estate agent that's like, no, I love what I do, but it's because I've formed these incredible relationships with my clients that are authentic, and I can be open about what I'm going through. And they're a huge support system for me. But that was the constant of having a why, having a purpose, of really, being able to connect and help other people, that kept me getting out of bed when it didn't feel possible to get out of bed. Because there's 7 years of life where getting out of bed was probably one of the most difficult things I could imagine, because you wake up and everything hurts so bad. You have so much fatigue and brain fog that it's like, how am I supposed to be a human today?
I just told you it's like 2 weeks of that. So you're saying 7 years, and it's like, it puts it in perspective for me.
Yeah. 7 years. That's hard.
That's
a lot.
8.5 now, but it's been, I think about it and I'm like, how? Because it really, I attribute a lot of being able to kind of push through this, and I was succeeding at work. You know, it was something that was bringing me joy and continues to bring me joy. And I was doing really well despite what I was battling. But I had to learn how to work with people and how to ask for help. And that is something that I didn't know how to do. I was, again, one track mind of I can do everything myself. I've got this. And then when your health's taken away and you can't do everything yourself, you really have to realize, okay, I have amazing people around me for a reason, and they're more than qualified to help with whatever it is that I need. And I had to humble myself and like get rid of that ego of wanting to get it all done myself because of perception. And that's a brutal acknowledgement, to look in the mirror and be like, I've been operating out of a place of ego that I can't even ask for help when my body is attacking itself. Like, there's a problem there. And, you know, I look at my business today and I couldn't do what I do without the incredible team around me. I mean, these people are my lifesavers. And it's the simple ability of asking for help and knowing where your energy needs to be spent and listening to your body. I think one thing that athletics did train me was to push through a lot. And that can be to a detriment, you know, and you have to learn that balance between, okay, when is it too much? When is it, you know, when does my body actually need rest? And when is it okay to push myself a little bit? Because you do have to push yourself almost every day. But there are some times where you have to have such an awareness of what's going on in your body that you have to be able to say, hey, I can't leave the couch today. I need to work from home and I'm going to need help. And that's been a really challenging journey because, again, I was always trained I could get through anything. I could push through anything no matter how bad I felt. And when I started to realize that when I was doing that and, you know, increasing my cortisol levels and really, really harming my body by not giving it the recovery that it needed, it was an eye-opener for me of like, I'm never going to get better unless I give myself the opportunity to do so when it needs it.
Well, you had said that the people in your life were more than qualified, and I would add more than qualified and willing, more than willing.
That is beautiful. Thank you. And I think that's been a really challenging thing for me to personally accept, that, you know, I've always had this idea that asking for help was almost putting an imposition on people. And what I am still learning is that these people are more than willing, and they want to help and they want to be there, just like I would want to be there for them. But for some reason, it never clicked in my brain that this wasn't adding an imposition to them. It was giving them an opportunity to help when no one knew how to help, because everything that I was going through was so foreign. I mean, and that's one of the biggest struggles, I think, with illness is until you're living it, it's something that is not relatable. Right? Yeah. It's not relatable. No. Like, how could you express what the abundance of different symptoms, and every day is a different battle? How can you explain that to someone? You can't. And I wouldn't wish anyone to have to feel it in my, not even my worst enemy ever. But when when people don't know how to show up for you necessarily or how to help, when you tell them, hey, if you can help me with this, or if you can show up, if you can come to a plasma transfusion with me for support, or if you could help my client while I'm in the hospital, you know, you're giving people the opportunity to help you get through your challenges when they don't know how to necessarily. So it's really empowering other people.
I like that.
Right? A coach said that to me. He's like, it's selfish when you're not giving other people the opportunity to thrive and succeed at something that they can easily do, or they can easily support you and they want to, because that empowers them and it gives them the opportunity to have a part in that story. And I think so often we forget about that.
What's amazing when we can give people an opportunity to get outside themselves.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing. It's like my best moments are when I'm not thinking about me. That's literally, but I get stuck thinking about me.
We all do.
And so if you give me an opportunity to get out of that, I jump all over it because, it feels really good. You said something else too, and I'm big on words, so I always pay attention to that kind of stuff. But where you were like, not asking, I never asked for help, and I couldn't, and there's a real problem there, and I would switch out problem with opportunity.
I love that.
So there's a real opportunity there for me to practice reps and sets. So it's just like going up the mountain. It's just like another, like you got really good at skiing because you showed up at the mountain and you did it. And you get really good at asking for help when you show up and do it. And now you've got all these opportunities to do that.
Amen. And you know what? I think a lot of the last couple of years has been identifying the way that I use my words, because just like I used to go into a certain environment and it would like electrocute me. So I almost had PTSD of doing things like going into the grocery store. And I have had to really work on an awareness of my body and myself and reminding my nervous system that you're okay. And the same thing goes for, words are so powerful. And I get caught. Thank you for catching that, because there are so many habits or tendencies of bad muscle memory or like negative neural pathways that we've created of seeing things not as opportunities, but as difficulties or challenges.
Or have tos and get tos, right?
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
And it makes such a big difference.
Total difference.
It's like, that is mental toughness.
Yes.
It's like when you can put yourself aside and realize that like every challenge that we face in life is an opportunity for us to grow.
Yes.
And like you never look back at your life and think about how much growth happened when everything was going great. That's not where growth happens. So it's like we have the opportunity when the shit hits the fan to say, okay, sure, if you need to mourn whatever it is you're going through for a little bit, but don't get stuck in that mud. Like you have the opportunity to lean into that difficulty, to lean into whatever it is that God's put in front of you and say, look, this might not be like what I thought I was going to, what I thought my life would look like, but it's preparing me for something so much bigger that I don't even know. Because had I not gone through what I've been through with Lyme, I would not be the person that I am today. I would still have a huge number of probably, very superficial relationships, and I wouldn't have gained a much deeper empathy for others and an understanding of self and like who I am, what traumas I have to work through, like what makes me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wouldn't have done that work. And I know that it's preparing me for something so much bigger. And I don't think that it's easy to look at, adversity and with that light. But what a beautiful gift adversity is.
Without a doubt.
I often will ask clients and people, tell me something in your life that was both easy and incredibly worthy.
That's a beautiful question. Is it like something I do?
Give me something you went after that was easy and totally worthy.
I just got to walk hand in hand with my father. And so he was a residential real estate developer for 40 plus years. And it's something that I never wanted to do because it was what my dad did. Well, fast forward to this past year, I had the opportunity to work alongside him and develop my first property from dirt. And more so than even just building something, which was the most rewarding and creatively fulfilling experience ever, I got to understand him on such a deeper level. And it made the process feel so seamless, and it made it so enjoyable. And I've been going through one of the most difficult antibiotic protocols imaginable for about 18 months now. And I've only got 1 month left. So I'm super excited. But I was really, having challenges mentally, and having the opportunity to grow and kind of repair a lot of damage within our relationship by doing something that he was passionate about and that I was passionate about. It was one of the most fulfilling, healing experiences.
But it didn't take any effort?
Oh, it took effort.
So it can be passionate and it can bring us all kinds of joy, but the work to get there may not seem as bad, but it takes effort.
Yeah.
So nothing in life that is easy or just shows up is worth it.
It's so true.
We have no connection to the value, and the value isn't the thing. The value is born out of the journey of pursuing the thing, right? That's where most people miss out. So I always say to people, if nothing in my life is easy and worth it, why do I want everything to be easy?
I don't think when you look at it, you don't really want things to be easy, because what is the growth or fulfillment that occurs when everything's easy? Nothing. You're just skating through life, and you're not evolving, you're not growing. And what are we if we're not evolving and growing?
We just have to remind ourselves of that. The perspective gets changed sometimes because of the pain or the brain fog. And it's and don't get me wrong, right? It's all right, yeah, okay, give me 5 years, not fucking 7. You know what I mean? Of making it hard to get out of bed. I could do with 4, not 7. But I often find myself, I struggled very hard before I opened our current business, and nearly took my life right before I did it. And one of the most clear, beautiful reflections I had was a gift, which was that I was in a Whataburger parking lot about to figure out how to go find a spot to pull the trigger. And that was, say, February. And then in October, I had created the business, and I was angry and pissed off because United Healthcare wasn't paying us, right, for services. Yeah. And I remember sitting down, and my whole day was ruined because of these, healthcare businesses.
Insurance is fun.
Yeah, and it just hit me. It was like a gift from God. So it was like the thought came back in February when you were in the parking lot at Whataburger. This would have been something you begged for. Yeah. You literally would have begged for this frustration, because it would have meant I'm running my own business. And you get what I'm saying?
Right?
But fast forward, and it's we take for granted and we lose sight. And that's why I think
that's so powerful.
Meeting the right people, having the right group, having a growth mindset, daily practices that get us out of ourselves and push the ego aside so that we can really see ourselves, right? And really see, oh, wait. I have a tendency to, you get a new car and it's all fun and games until 6 months later. Now you got to put gas in it. You got to wash it. And
totally,
it's that thing, right? Things change, and things are never really what we're after anyway. Right?
No.
We're really after the connection, the creativity, the purpose, and the meaning, which is what I've heard you talk a lot about today, is the pursuit of my career is not amazing, and I don't love it because it pays my bills and makes me successful. You very poignantly highlighted, it's the very first thing you said, incredible relationships with your client.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? Something you said earlier, I think something that's been a lifesaver for me is creating habits. And habits, like one of my biggest habits is gratitudes. You had mentioned earlier, like, you know, when things have been challenging, you double down on your gratitudes, because it's so easy to get into a headspace of defeat or victim mentality. And when you open your eyes, no matter how bad you might be feeling, or no matter how frustrated you might be with United Healthcare, I've been there totally. But it's like, if you can take 5 and write out 10 things that you're grateful for, and switch, you know, every morning I do my gratitudes and affirmations. It's like, what are 10 things I'm grateful for that are not the same things every day? What are my affirmations of self? Like, who, you know, how do I want to empower myself with words and continue to create reps, create that muscle memory of like, these are my go-tos. This is my foundation, so that no matter how hard things get, I know that I'm rooted in gratitude and abundance.
Yes.
The journey you just told us about, have you ever written that out?
I haven't. I mean, I journal daily.
Not journal, written the story.
I need to.
So I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but
tell me what to do.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna. Are you willing to
do it?
Yes.
Are you willing to do a quick little bit of work?
Yes.
I want you to take a moment. You can close your eyes, however it needs to happen. I want you to consider the 7-year journey of brain fog, getting out of bed. Like I mean, I'm listening to you, and I got all kinds of thoughts about a person who's willing to move into a camper, put gloves on, continue to work, versus like, fuck you, give me my fucking, give me my benefits check. You know what I mean? Like that, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So writing it out is going to produce way more gold nuggets, but I want to show you what can happen. I want you to think about that process, and I'm going to ask you one question. So give yourself a minute to just go back to like getting out of bed every day, putting the gloves on, not quitting. Okay. I'm going to ask you this question.
Let's hear it.
What does all of that mean about you?
The first thing that comes to my mind, I'm a tough motherfucker.
Do you use that? Is that one of your affirmations in the morning?
No, it's not.
Okay. So when you said I'm a tough, did you see her face?
Yeah.
She's big smile, right? Yeah. Why? Because you had emotion behind it.
Yeah, that was powerful.
We call those evidence-based affirmations. So we talk a lot about evidence-based practices in therapy. If I just whip something up like I'm a really good person and I try to train my body to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of therapists give people this task of like, go sit in front of the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. Motherfucker, if I do that, I'm going to produce more shame because I don't believe it. I'm at a stage, right? So I would encourage you to take I'm a tough motherfucker, put that on your affirmations list. And then one exercise might be I'm a tough motherfucker because I survived all of this. And then
I love you, and I love that.
In your story, you might title it One Tough Motherfucker, and then write out everything you went through. And if you are down to do that and you call me, I'll take you through a 4-step process that'll change your life.
Done.
All right.
Done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, I've never said those words.
So say it again.
I'm a tough motherfucker.
Fuck
now
yeah.
Take a big but low and slow breath. Say it one more time.
I am a tough motherfucker.
One more breath. Let it sit. Just take it in. Exhale. One last time.
I am a tough motherfucker.
You hear the difference in how she said it?
It's hard because it's hard to like believe for a second, you know?
Yeah, that last one though, you were pretty convincing. Yeah.
I'm like, you have to take yourself through.
That's why we do 3 trials.
I'm a fucking tough motherfucker.
That.
3 trials.
Every morning I would wake up.
Hold on, let her have her moment.
No, I love moments together. Honestly, that's so powerful because there's almost this a shame that can come with saying things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, am I being egotistical or is this warranted? But it's like, no, I was even just on the airplane getting over here, I was looking through photos on my phone and I was looking at, a multitude of hospital stays and like tubes hanging out of my neck and a port put in my chest that wouldn't stop bleeding, and then another port put in, and then I've had 10 surgeries to build this port in my arm. And I think about everything that this little physical body, my vessel, has been through, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, that is something I do not give myself enough credit for. And it is such...
What is it?
It's the fact that I am fucking resilient. You know?
Yeah,
I am resilient.
Yes, you are.
And I don't know that I have believed that most of my life. I knew that I could get through things because I put the work in and I knew how to put reps in. But I don't think I ever internalized or did the self-work. And it's still a journey, obviously.
Well, you also didn't have the tools to know how to use your language to support that mission.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I help people.
I'm going to move here and work with you.
I do. I help people understand through a process that this guy, Mark England, created, the Unlifted method. And it is one of the most beautiful, potent forms of working with somebody, is to really identify the words that we use.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that happens. We're conditioned, right? I remember learning how to fucking square dance in school. That's how old I am. And it's like, you know how many times I've square danced since my adult life? Never.
Never.
But no one ever taught me how to do taxes or the shit that really counts, or use my language to like empower me, right? So what does happen a lot though is people will say, especially about emotion, they'll be like, dude, you kill it. You're doing so good. Don't let it go to your head. How many times have you been given a compliment and then they take it away?
Oh, yeah.
So what if people said, well, it's like when that happens to me, I'm like, well, no. How about you give me the compliment and then I take a breath and I let it go to my heart?
And I never do that.
Yeah.
I've always, until recently, like I've become aware of the fact that I always deflect by making a compliment to them back instead of just receiving and saying, thank you.
Thank you. You're fucking right.
Yeah. I always say, you're so resilient. Oh, like you're so incredible too. Thank you. But it's like, it was because it was out of insecurity.
Yeah. And we're conditioned to like that is egotistical. That's what we're taught.
Yeah.
It's not. There's a way to be in that, which is totally humble and just honoring what we have done versus I'm being braggadocious and I'm putting myself out there. And for people who come from addiction, trauma, when we go to celebrate ourselves, you would think if I'm teaching you how to celebrate yourself, you're going to feel good. It's often a mixed bag of like, wow, I really feel that. And I also feel guilty.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Think about your experience in life.
Yeah.
If you were only good based on what you did,
yeah,
how do you have a relationship connected to the younger version of yourself in here?
That's 100% spot on.
Yeah, you have to make a bridge to come back to yourself to say, I'm going to be everything I didn't get and needed when I was younger. And what I needed was somebody to say, hey, go out there and really give it your best. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Drop the mic. We can't drop these mics. But that's beautiful. And it's so, so spot on. Because it always, even I look at the beginning of my real estate career, it's like, what accolades, what accomplishments did I achieve? What awards did I win? Because that was my identity. Mm-hmm. It was like, what am I without these external factors that are, pumping me up? But really, that was just out of a place of not having that strong self-worth and having insecurities, and recognizing that has been and is extremely challenging because it's so, you have to, just like you've spent your whole life kind of reinforcing that behavior or those thought patterns, to actually, pivot. And that I always pick like a word of the year. This year, my word's been pivot, because I really believe, like, when I get into a thought pattern of maybe negativity or insecurity or defeatism, it's having the awareness to stop, put the brakes on, and pivot.
Yes.
And that is something that, you know, at 35, I'm just learning.
With the writing, if you do take me up on it, some of that it'll help you not just pivot, but stand in front of it and deflect it. And so it'll, like, it comes at you and you'll just switch gears. And it takes a minute, but you start to recognize that we basically have this. I talked about this at our training the other day at the center, but we have this beacon, and it emits a frequency. And if it's scarcity and insecurity and unbelonging, or I don't fit in, or I'm only as good as my latest conquest, that vibration really only attracts the similar. It needs to confirm itself, right?
Yes.
So now I have this thing, and it's confirmation bias with reticular activating system. Now I'm only out in the world looking for scarcity because the programming that I have from early childhood has to confirm itself. It needs proof.
Yeah.
And my brain has to take the emotions that I'm feeling and say, why am I feeling this way? I'm insecure. I'm anxious. Oh, it's because the world's out to get me and nothing ever goes my way and I'm sick and I have all this pain. And so we have to change the source, but the way that we get to it is we have to look at the things that are coming at us. And it's like, oh, right now we had a guy at the center the other day say, if I don't do the physical part of this program super intensely, I feel like I won't belong. What I knew instantly was like, I don't even have to know you.
Yeah.
But I know at your core, what you're emitting is I don't belong.
Yeah.
And I'm only as good as my latest physical attribute. So we have to change that. So this was like the signal that says, oh, this is something to really take a look at. Then we go back and we start to change source. And it's like we start to write to ourselves. We start to use different language, and we start to accept that we're a bad motherfucker. And like, it's okay I own that. Like, I've changed the game in San Antonio when it comes to IOPs. That's not bragging.
Incredible.
That's literally like, that's a fact.
That's the truth.
It's literally the truth.
The
And I don't get puffy when I say it.
No.
I came in, I knew exactly what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. I was willing to spend more money than any other program. I was willing to work harder than anybody else. I don't make apologies for it anymore. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And like, we're doing it. And
so cool.
For today, it's amazing. Tomorrow's another day, right? But it's like, I used to be like, I don't want to play big and I want to just be small and fuck all that. No.
Right? And
Fuck all that.
Fuck all that, because we can accomplish anything.
Yes.
And I know, like, talking about frequencies, and when I'm in flow and I am in a space of abundance, I know that incredible things have happened in my life, like things that you can't make up. It's just absolutely insane, the magnetism. But the fact that I see that I don't live in that place very often, it reminds me of the power that I do have within, and the work that I need to do still in order to live up to that and to be magnetic. But I think a lot of it comes down to clarity too, and understanding and believing that you are a bad motherfucker.
Well, I want belonging and acceptance so bad before I start to actually change and do the deep work that I'm willing to sacrifice my innate gifts and who I am as a person, because I don't want to make you feel insecure about what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Because then you won't want me.
Yeah. It's
Wild.
crazy.
That's what we're doing.
Wild.
Like, let me shrink myself so you feel okay, so that you'll still accept me.
No more.
And I'm actually running at a pace that's way faster than you anyway, and I'm going to out fucking run you.
Isn't it wild that we do that?
Yeah, it's not wild.
100%.
It makes perfect sense because the nervous system doesn't really know dates and times, and it lives in a state of conditioning from wherever the wound is. And if that wound doesn't get healed, it's trying to recreate that. You would think, common sense, prefrontal cortex, like, oh, I had a bad childhood, and my primary caregivers didn't show up for me, and I start dating a woman who is like wholesome and wants to show up and is always there, and I'm like, you're boring, I don't want you.
Yeah.
I got to screw it up. Why? It's not lunacy. It's the nervous system's like, wait a minute, this isn't like it was in childhood, and I need it to be like it was in childhood so I can fix it.
Wild.
This is so good.
Right?
Literally, thank you for the therapy. It's so profound. And it is these limiting beliefs that we put on, that are programmed in. And it's like, until you're willing to come face to face with that ugly and difficult shit in your life, and really understand the root so that you can pull that fucker out and rebuild.
And be willing to lose some people. And you've already done that with your
Yeah.
being sick. Like that did it for you. So the truth is when you get well, there's people that can't go along for the ride.
Yeah.
I also want to highlight that you mentioned in here the fact of like how you doing the EMDR has actually helped you physically, and how important that is. Like even in my life and everything that I've been through, the therapy, my daily protocols, my meditation, my journaling, my visualization,
Yes.
how that actually heals my body. That actually heals our body. People don't understand that.
Such a big part of it.
Yes, spirituality, the therapy, all of that will heal our body. We are more powerful as beings
Yeah.
than they let us know,
Definitely.
than they truly let us know. So I just wanted to highlight that because people don't understand that. Like you're physically sick, like I had a heart transplant, but the spiritual side of things, the visualization, the therapy, all the things that I've done has helped to transform my frequency.
Put a little stardust in there for me.
So that I can heal.
I think that like more than 50% of healing from anything, especially like something chronic or a really, really big life event, is mental work. Because I mean, the body keeps the score. Like we hold so much trauma within ourselves. And we're not taught that. Like Western medicine traditionally is like, oh, you don't feel good, we're going to cover it up with this pharmaceutical. Here's a Band-Aid. But like until you're willing to do the work emotionally, spiritually, your physical being is not going to be able to heal because you're stuck in the same thought patterns that you have been that got you there.
And also, I liked what you said too, and same with me, is you will heal better when you get rid of the energy in your circle that's not really for you.
And it's hard.
It's so hard. I mean, I had to cut family out, friends for years, decades, but they didn't. If I kept that energy in me, it's not going to be beneficial to my healing or my growth in life.
It's crazy how much it affects you.
But our environment and the people in our life will transform our frequency. It'll help heal us.
And I've always been someone that, especially with partners, I've looked for, I mean, not consciously, but I've found people that tend to be very broken and need a lot of help. And I always thought that if I could just love them well enough or bring, healing and support to them, that everything would be better. And what I realized a lot over the last, several years is how much that negative energy was physically affecting me. Because it was weighing me down to the point of not being able to, get myself through things. It was weighing me down more than most, physical things ever would, was just being around energy that was not positive and not in a supportive, healthy environment. And it is so hard to pull those weeds out from your life.
You know what's interesting to me is, so if you think about your experience on this with skiing, right?
Yeah.
It's a team sport that's primarily individual based. And you talked a lot about I got to do it all on my own. I don't really want to ask for help. I'm not good at that. So when you find a person who's broken, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of threat of you intruding into my life or piercing the veil. And I also get to continue my identity as the producer and the one who, right?
Yeah, I can still succeed. And I wanted to succeed too at fixing other people, which is not my responsibility. And something that we can't fix another human. That's something they can only do.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever tried to fix yourself? How hard is that?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Definitely can't fix another person.
No, but I think we try and do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't become a therapist for. There was a reason.
There's a reason.
I have a job because
I went to school to become that guy.
Yeah.
to realize
done,
you can't be that guy. You know, it took a lot of money and a lot of classes to realize you can't be that person. So
I mean, the amount that therapy has profoundly changed my life is something that I could not have more gratitude for, and something that, you know, I think everyone should have a therapist, no matter if you're going through something currently or if you've had an awesome life, like whatever it may be. Nope, we all have things that until, just like mentoring or coaching, like until you have someone looking from above, bird's eye view, and saying, hey, you are actually not, you know, you're stuck in this thought pattern, or you keep doing this, you have these tendencies, like the things that we don't recognize within ourselves that we're doing because we're doing them subconsciously usually. Until you have someone that can look over what you're doing, like, I don't believe that you can really be the best version of yourself. And one of the things I took from skiing was the power of coaching. I've never not had amazing coaches and mentors in my business career as well, because I don't know what I don't know. And those are the people that are going to say, hey, you're doing a great job at this, but you're missing out on A, B, C, and D. Or my therapist, you know, just had huge realizations about why I picked certain people relationally and like what I was attracting from childhood. And I'm like, how? I never in a million years would have put that together. You just rocked my world. And I'm like, what a gift we can give ourselves by asking for that help, by seeking that help.
Absolutely.
Or by showing up.
Yeah. The art of showing up.
Yeah. I want to just highlight one last thing, the power of gratitude.
Yeah.
How strong that is and how it truly could transform ourselves. You know, there's so much power in gratitude.
Well, I was telling her, like, when I had last 2 weeks of all this stuff going on with me, it wasn't because I'm virtuous or I'm like an amazing human being. It's not, that has nothing to do with it. I treated the gratitude like taking a medication.
It's medicine.
It was like, I'm going to infuse this into my current scenario so I get the best possible chance of getting better quickly.
Yes.
Just like if you gave me, like,
brother,
the doc prescribed me prednisone, like, I'm going to take that to alleviate the inflammation and the pain. I'm going to do gratitude for the same reason.
Absolutely.
I'm literally doing it because I know it's going to benefit the recovery.
Yes.
And when you're, sorry, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
When you're not doing, like, when I'm not doing these things, when I'm not meditating, when I'm not doing my morning routine, like, I see so visibly the decline in my physical health, of my mental health, everything. It's like, this is medicine. These are non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable. Every single morning and night, we do it, the family. Kathy, Sunny, and me. We do our gratefuls. And listen, when I came out of the hospital, when I came out of the heart transplant, I wrote. I wrote on the board because I truly felt that. I don't care about pain. I'm grateful to be alive. And that's just the reality. We're fucking here. I woke up every morning and I'd be like,
I'm alive.
Yeah, I'm fucking alive. You know, I'd still have that voice of like that victim and I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior, son. Every morning.
I love it.
I'm a warrior, son. Every fucking, actually, Joe Roll, I would tell him, I'm a warrior, son. Every fucking morning, I'd say, I'm a warrior, son. And I'd play music. My friends made this song, Love and Life. He passed away from drug addiction. Have Murphy, I love you. And they were hip-hop artists. They were my friends. And I would play the Love and Life every single morning, even though I didn't fucking love life, because I was programming that into my mind, that I'm here. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk today. I'm going to do everything I need to do to become better every day, despite what my mind's telling me. I'm going to live in fucking gratitude. And that's even now. Like, people think I'm Superman. They see me with the Superman cape. But
like, you know what
these
it
guys
takes to
know.
be there?
No, but these guys know, like, I'm not Superman. And I'm vulnerable. And I go through my humans still now.
Which is
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like yesterday, I had a bunch of tests done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it starts to mess. The victim could come in, but then it was like I get to do these tests because these tests get to make sure that I'm okay.
Yeah.
The perspective shift.
It's so true.
It
Frank.
changes everything in us. It's like, is the glass half full or half empty?
Yeah.
It's half full. When we look at it as half full, our cells heal, everything heals. The world looks so much better. You know,
it's so beautiful.
But we do get in our human. Like I get in my human. I'm not perfect. I still get down. I get like my anti-rejection meds. I had a biopsy done. It was off. It was a false positive. They did it again. Anyway, long story short, they shifted my meds, so they had to put my meds a little bit higher for the anti-rejection. You know, I can let that fuck with me and start to mess with me, or I could look at it as, man, this is like just another thing that's gonna help me to live longer.
And that's
you know
the
what I mean?
power, too, of the people around you. You
Absolutely.
know?
And being able to be vulnerable, and this is where I'm at, and then be embraced and cared for. Man, dude, are you kidding me? Like also, the fact that I love you too, motherfucker. Sorry.
It also helps that you're somebody who definitely has this. I know you mentioned it, but it's not mentioned right now, but I want to bring it up. Is like it also really helps to have an identified mission. Yeah. Because when you have a mission and you're fulfilling whatever you think your purpose is, everything that comes up that's like the BS and the noise, you're like, wait a minute, is this getting in the way of my mission?
Correct.
So it's like a way to measure and counteract that effect, right? Because if I'm aimlessly just wandering around, I'm going to grab onto this and play with it for a while because I'm fucking bored and I got nothing better to do. But nowadays it's like, wait a minute, I got emotion, I've got a mission. I'm playing with this thing over here, and I'm like, this is keeping me from this thing.
Yeah, I agree, bro. Yeah, I went through that.
C-Rock, who's shout out C-Rock, is our fearless leader in the mastermind group we're part of. Talks a lot about the difference between like having clarity and having chaos, and when you have clarity in your mission, and when you know what your mission is, it makes decisions black and white.
Yep.
It makes it, know,
you're either down with the mission or get out.
Exactly.
That's it.
And that hit me so hard. And because it really, there's no room for what's holding you back from that mission. And that's not selfish, or it is in a healthy way selfish. I think the word selfish can be misused a lot because it is good to be selfish in a sense.
I know.
You have to make decisions that are best for you and are going to get you closer.
Being self-focused is a very powerful.
And I've had people come at me like because I stopped bothering with them, like even on social media, like ugly messages and stuff. And it's like, you're not part of the mission. So I have to, like, you showed me you're not part of the mission.
And you sending this message is confirming
that you're not part of the mission. So, like, you're upset that I distanced myself from you, but you're not part of what we're trying to do. Like, I'm not here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner no more.
Yeah.
And to pay bills.
Yeah.
We're truly on a fucking mission to change the mental health game nationally and change people's lives. And if you're not going to help me with that, then there's nothing we can do. It's a one-way street, and we got to separate. But people get upset with that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Good
we're
riddance.
on a mission, so I need soldiers. Like, if we're in a war, I can't have a wishy-washy person next to me. We might get killed.
We need strong allies.
We need strong allies, and that's the main thing. So,
and gratitude for those allies. I mean,
yes.
I always say it's like we have our toolkits. What's your toolkit of getting through hard things? And it's like gratitudes, the people around you, how you're limiting beliefs, getting rid of them, how you're speaking to yourself, listening to music. Like for me, when I'm not feeling good and I can't get out of bed, if I bump my favorite music, I know that that's going to be something that invigorates me to get up and moving. It's like, what is your toolkit for when shit hits the fan? Because it will.
Absolutely. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I love you guys.
I love that you came all the way from Denver to join us today. I look forward to all of our mastermind futures together. We're going to get Jason in the mastermind. And so let me ask you, where could our audience find you?
That's a great question. I was going to try and think of something witty, but instead I'll give you my, I think my Instagram's probably great because it has my website and everything. And that's Athena Brownson Realtor. You can follow me, message me, and it doesn't have to be about real estate. I'm here for all things.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So what does life look like for you in the next year?
You know, life looks so good for me in the next year. I'm regaining my health. I am like, I just had my 35th birthday, and I was telling my mom, this is the first year in a decade that I've actually been excited for a new year, because in the past it's always been a reminder of how much time is passing of being sick and really not feeling well. And for the first time, I'm making such huge strides with my health that I'm reinvigorated, and I'm going to be 100% healthy this year.
I love that.
And everything else amazing will come from that. But that's my number one priority.
I love that.
Badass.
Amazing.
Well, thanks for being a tough motherfucker.
Yes.
Thanks for having me and allowing this tough motherfucker to say some things.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Awesome.
Thank you for connecting with us on today's episode of the Emotion Podcast, where we discuss all things mental health. Connect every week as we explore incredibly intimate stories of persistence and hope, delve into mental health education, and explore valuable resources. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.